Hi, I'm Emily Mallory of Emily's Papercrafts. Thanks so much for joining me today. Today, I want to show you how to create a sunflower iris folded greeting card that's super fast and easy. Let's get started. Okay, so today, this is such a cool card. It's actually a daffodil die cut that I then just put a circle in the center to change it into a sunflower. But one ring of petals didn't look like it was quite enough, so we're going to actually blend them together. So we'll do that at the end. So I'm going to start with the one that I want on the outside. Wait, no, we want the one that's on the inside. So the back layer. I always keep forgetting. Back layer first, because this is just, it's a cool card. So we're going to put the back side down, and then this one is great for using up those scraps of paper that you're like, I don't know what to do with them. I don't always keep lots and lots of browns on hand. And this one, you really don't need very much. Actually, it's only about like 4 inches, and then it goes all the way down to about 1 inch. So I'm just going to fold over the edge, and then as usual, put some tape right down the fold. This one, it doesn't matter where you start. We're going to start on the outside with the same color, and then we're going to change when we go in one layer to a different color, so it eventually slowly works its way to getting darker. So just choose one where you want to start. And it's okay if it overhangs the edge of the petals, because we're going to just trim that all off afterward. Make sure if you're using washi tape, you don't glue your washi tape to your flower. So there's one. You can go clockwise, counterclockwise, you can go across. It is a very versatile, easy pattern. And actually even 4 inches here was way too much. Well, not too much paper. But again, a great way of getting rid of built up scraps. Okay, so there was our outermost ring of papers and more tape. Because there's not a lot holding it down on that bottom layer, it's going to want to move around a little bit more than you would otherwise imagine. So then this, again, is just another piece of scrap paper, and I only need about 4 inches. This one actually uses a little bit less because it gets smaller the further in we go. This is actually the edge off of a piece of scrapbook paper that I used the front side of with all the blue flowers, but I liked it so much I decided not to throw it away. And here's that perfect opportunity for using up those scraps. And with this flower, I was okay with having a little bit thicker cardstock. Like this double-sided scrapbook paper is a lot thicker than that first layer that I put down, but that's going to help pop the flower off of the card when we go to layer it and finish it. So it's actually going to give us a very nice finished look, even if it's like, oh goodness, this is getting really thick and tall. With this one, with a sunflower, that'll be perfect. It'll really add some nice dimension to it. Okay, so we went around. Next color in is a little bit darker. This one is also another double-sided, but I'm preferring the non-burlap side. Again, a little bit of tape down that fold. And then the fun part of putting more tape on my, almost reminds me of Lincoln logs here on the back side. Plus it's so sticky, so make sure you don't pull it up if you're using double-sided tape, because you'll get to rebuild it. Not always the most fun aspect. With this sunflower, you could also do it with just like 2 rounds of paper rather than 4. So if you have watched my blending the lines tip video, you know you can just do 2 sets of lines at the same time. You just want to keep going in the same direction just in case the numbers on the pattern get off. So if I wanted to make this card ever so slightly faster, I could have just used 2 colors rather than 4 and been around in about, I would have been done by now, but I wanted a little bit more depth. Plus, I'm gonna like this height that is coming with this card. Okay, last round, aside from the center. This one is a little bit darker because sunflower centers are always seem a lot darker in the center rather than on the edges, but they never really seem to be that way in real life. Okay, so then this one's just little tiny itsy bitsy pieces of paper. So I actually have even more paper here that I cut and folded than I really am going to need, but that's okay. I'll just have enough to make another card. Again, I would not worry about keeping your circle as it gets smaller into a perfect square, because it'll help add some visual interest. And no one's really going to notice if it's not completely square, because it's so small. Okay, so that was my last one. So now get this nice and sticky, and I'll put on a center, which is just another piece of just scrap black paper. It kind of has some dots on it. And voila, the flower is done. I'm going to carefully peel it and the paper off. If you'll notice, I'm going to have a bunch of tripping here to do because I don't really want to see all of the parts there on the inside. But if you just gently lift up on the petal underneath, so just my detail scissors, and just gently, but it's going to take some force because you're going to cut through multiple layers of paper there. Yep, I can see at least 2 to 3 layers there that I've had to cut through to peel it away so you can't see all of those layers. Don't worry about your scissors getting sticky. I have learned over the years that actually if you use like a Clorox disinfecting wipe, it'll take a little bit of elbow grease, and be careful because your scissor blades are sharp, but it will take off any glue or tape stickiness that you create, which is totally what I'm going to need because I'm getting some nice tape buildup here on the back side of my scissors. If you're feeling like your design is moving around, mine's wanting to move around just a little bit because I have 4 layers of paper there to cut through. Just pinch and kind of grab that center where you've done all your beautiful iris folding, and just work those scissors. So on the back side it now looks incredibly ugly, but on the front side there's nothing overlapping those petals anymore, which is what we were after. So then we're going to take a green background and our other set of sunflower petals. It's going to be easier to put our tape, come here, you're so sticky, on the other set. So I'm going to put some more tape, mostly in the centers. And then carefully make it so they all are alternating, but lining up my centers. Okay, perfect, voila. Next, before I put down my flower on my background, I'm going to tape my background down so it's a little bit easier to work with on the paper. If you were wanting a greeting stamped on your card, now would be a good time to do that. Or you could even put one on the leaf that we're going to add to our flower. And we'll carefully turn this over. Lots of glue, or tape, I keep wanting to call it glue. Lots and lots of tape, or glue for that matter, on the back side of your sunflower. Stickiness. Just be careful so you don't literally rip it apart. Kind of decide where you want it, how high up. And then I've got a little tiny skinny green that I'm going to add here for the stem. It was a leftover from another card that I made, so it already had sticky back on it, which I always like it when I can double dip. See how close I can get it to line up too. There we go. And then a leaf. You can cut one out freehand style. This would be a cute way of adding a greeting to the leaf. And this one is also a leftover green from another card that I made, so it already had the sticky back on it. Just add your sunflower leaf, and voila! You now have a very beautiful but simple circle sunflower. Thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.